Good afternoon. I am originally from New Jersey. It means I'm really loud naturally, but if you cannot hear me, let me know, and I'm happy to use the microphone. The second thing it means is sometimes I speak too quickly, because you know us Yankees, we talk fast. So if I'm speaking too fast, please just let me know, okay? Just raise your hand, do a this, do a something, I'll catch it, okay? Well, I'm very excited to be here. You are the largest group I've ever spoken to. So I'm talking about caregiver stress is what I'm going to talk about, but I am experiencing a little stress right now. And I can feel it. So you're the biggest group I've ever spoken to. I've never had to use a PowerPoint. Normally I just stand up here and talk away because I'm a social worker and we can do that, no problem. I got here, we had a lot of problems with the technology and getting my PowerPoint started. So right now, my heart rate's a little bit high. And my blood pressure's a little bit high. Yeah, so that's what your body does with stress. And I'm sure you've all felt it at some time or another. Even young Clinton back there, who is the same age as my oldest child. So I'm also feeling kind of old right now. But I'm here to talk about caregiver stress. And one of the programs that we have at the Memory Health Program at the Center for Success in Aging is a caregiver program. Our specialty is dementia, diagnosing and managing that diagnosis, which is very stressful to the caregivers. So we really work with the caregiver. Sometimes it's a husband or a wife or a sister or a niece or a nephew or children to kind of try to help them through that stress. So caregiver stress, very, very big conversation in our office. But obviously, caregiver stress can be if you're taking care of a child, or anybody that needs extra help that is possibly disabled. So it really applies to anybody that's taking care of any population, caregiver stress. So can y'all see? So this lady up in the corner, good morning, let the stress begin. That's kind of what it's like for caregivers. When you wake up in the morning, the stress begins. And it usually doesn't stop. So my husband taught me that cool trick with PowerPoint because I didn't know. So these are statistics that are general statistics. So my specialty is dementia. And I can tell you that there's over 309,000 unpaid caregivers in South Carolina alone taking care of somebody with dementia, Alzheimer's, any of the dementias. But nationally, generally speaking, 43.5 million caregivers. So there's a lot of stress. A lot of people trying to take care of somebody. Usually it's a family member. And I think that makes the stress greater because you've got that emotional investment. You're trying to do your best for somebody that you love. And that's very stressful. So on an average month, 13 days of your month is shopping, food prep, housekeeping, laundry, transportation, giving medications. 13 days out of the month you spend doing that. 6 days out of the month you're feeding, you're dressing, grooming, bathing. So 6 days out of the month doesn't maybe sound like that much, but that's totaling up all the hours and minutes that you spend doing that for this person that you love and you're trying to take care of. And then 13 hours just calling the doctor, trying to get some answers or researching whatever the issue is that makes it so that you have to take care of that person. Trying to work on the finances. A lot of times you have to take over that person's finances and make sure the bills are paid. So that's quite a bit. That's a lot of responsibility. That's a huge responsibility. So of course, with all that responsibility comes all that stress. So here, this is going to be my biggest point today. You are number one. If you don't take care of you, you can't take care of them. That if you take nothing else away from today, please remember that. Our instinct is to always put somebody else first. And I made a whole career out of it. I'm a social worker, so I understand. The problem is that if you do that when you're a caretaker, you just become exhausted. And you reach a point where you can't give care anymore because you're worn out. So for anybody that's ever flown and they do their whole demonstration, yeah, and they always say, put your oxygen on first before helping somebody else. I'm telling you, please put your oxygen on first. I really mean it. Okay, everybody nod. They heard that. You're going to do it, right? Okay. It's hard. It's hard to do. And we're, especially women, we're taught to take care of everybody else first. But when you are taking care of somebody that really needs a lot of assistance, gotta take care of you first. So I talked a little bit about how the body responds to stress. It goes into that fight or flight mode. I just felt like taking flight out of here because we couldn't get that to work initially. And it got as I said, my heart pumping and my blood pressure up and a little jittery. Your muscles tighten. When you have chronic stress, like you do when you're trying to take care of somebody, your body has that stress reaction and it doesn't really get back to normal. So when you have stress, you've got all kinds of hormones shooting off in your body, cortisol and adrenaline. And when you have chronic stress, those hormones don't get back to a normal level. They're kind of always a little elevated. And so that's why you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop when you're taking care of somebody. And you're always just a little bit like this. Maybe your shoulders are always kind of tight and tense. And it's because your body doesn't really leave that stress mode. And eventually you don't even realize that you are staying at that level of stress. But you are. You are. So some of the things that you'll see with stress, and I feel like I'm standing in front of somebody's line of vision no matter where I am. Okay, so look at all the stuff that happens with stress. You have fatigue, you have headaches, usually because your shoulders and your neck are so tight that it creates headaches. You can develop skin irritations. Your body's just trying to respond to that stress. You tend to get sick more often. Are any of you that are caregivers, have you experienced this where you tend to be sick a lot because your body's tired? Muscle twitches. I used to have a boss whose eye would twitch whenever she got stressed. Your emotions, you might be cranky. Yeah. Yeah. You might be depressed, which is, all of this is normal for a high level of stress. You might just not care anymore. You might get kind of apathetic, and because you're worn out, you just can't rouse yourself to do much. You might isolate yourself from your friends and your family. That's also a problem. You worry, you make hasty decisions, but a lot of times your thinking may not necessarily be the most clear that it usually is. So you can make really hasty decisions, not necessarily clear, good decisions. Nightmares. You can become very negative because you're depressed. You know, you just don't ever have a good thing to say about yourself or anything. Loss of sleep. Anybody experience insomnia because you're so stressed and worried? You lie awake and think about it all night. Loss of appetite. Some people, when they get very stressed, they lose their appetite. When I get very stressed, I eat whatever is not fast enough to run away. So you see both. And different people handle it differently. Some people might start drinking more than they normally would do. They might start smoking more. Or they might be very antsy and restless, can't settle. So that's a lot. That's a lot going on. So on top of all of the things that you have to do to take care of this person, you're dealing with that going on inside you. So that's a lot. So no wonder there is caregiver burnout, right? Makes sense. What do you do about it?
Pray hard.
Yeah, so right now you're like, thanks, lady, for showing us that list. Because if I didn't feel that way before, I probably am going to feel about it now. What do you do about all this? There are things that you can do. Nobody can, if you're taking care of your brother who has dementia, we might not be able to fix that. That might be what you're doing right now, but there are ways to try to decrease your stress some, okay? And keep in mind, why do you want to decrease your stress?
Take care of yourself.
Exactly. Somebody was listening back there. Who was that? Nice. Yes, because you have to take care of yourself in order to take care of them. That guy looked like he could be from New Jersey to me. That's why I picked him. He had that Jersey look.
You can't say forget about it.
Forget about it. I wanted to, I didn't know how to spell it. So I'm going to talk about some very simple techniques to relieve stress. And no, they are not going to take your stress away forever, but they can help. And these are some techniques that we talk about. I am an Alzheimer's caregiver coach. And these are techniques that we talk about in that program. And some of these have been really pushed by the Rosalind Carter Institute of Caregiving as good, quick, take a break type of things, which is what you need. The first technique is called a signal breath. It is so easy. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. And it's really like taking a moment. It's literally taking a breath. You ready? Ready to breathe? Okay, good. So a signal breath, you take probably a 4-count breath in. Blow it out through your mouth. And when you blow it out, you need to let your shoulders come down. When you're stressed, everybody's shoulders end up here. So you're going to take a just let your shoulders come down to where shoulders are supposed to be to begin with. And when you're breathing out, you can think of a word that is relaxing to you. I tend to think of the beach, because I grew up near the beach and the sound of the waves coming and going is very soothing. Some people like to think of the rain falling. That's very soothing. Whatever it is that is soothing to you, which might be jazz music or something that somebody else is thinking would rev you up, whatever works for you is great. But it's a way, if you think about what your level of stress is to start out, you take that breath. And most people feel a little bit better. It's not going to solve your problem. It's not going to completely get rid of your stress. But if you are in a stressful situation in that moment, if I'm dealing with somebody with dementia and they're getting very agitated and I feel like I'm going to lose my patience, I just took a moment and I brought everything down. So that's a very easy one to do that you all can do. You can do it now because I just taught you, right? Simple. The second thing that you can try is music. Music can be very relaxing. If you can take just a few minutes and either listen to some music on your phone, on your radio, again, whatever type of music is soothing to you, could be gospel, could be country. I like the Jackson 5. Like I said, everybody's different. Again, because it creates a pause in your stress. If you really listen to it, don't sit there with it going on in the background and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do that, because that's not doing anything for you. You have to really just take a few minutes and sit and listen. And it kind of resets you and makes you possible to go on with whatever it is you need to, whatever task it is that's coming up next for you. So try that. What's your favorite type of music?
The old-fashioned, like the Temptations.
Oh, like Motown. Oh, yes. Very Gordy. Anything he touched. Yeah, I agree. And what about you, ma'am? What do you enjoy?
I love soothing music.
Okay. Okay. So anything goes, as long as it makes you relax. Okay. Gospel. Yep. A lot of people like that. So the third technique I'm going to tell you about is stretching. Now, I don't mean like crazy yoga, contorting, out of control, because I can't do that either. I'm not that stretchy anymore either. But what we're going to do, and you can all sit in your chair. We're going to reach out to the side and then reach out just a little bit more. Don't have to go crazy. Now we're going to go up top and then a little bit more. There you go. Take a deep breath. Come on down. You just stretched out your shoulders and your neck a little bit. Release tension. So it doesn't have to be any kind of major thing that you go to the gym to do. It's just a gentle, because we're all got different abilities. I have a little bit of a problem with my rotator cuff, so I'm not going to go too far on the shoulders. So you do what you can do, and it loosens you up. Y'all feel a little loose? I feel kind of loose now. Whew! I'm not nervous anymore. I don't know if that's good news or bad news for you. The other technique, again, is trying to loosen your muscles, progressive muscle relaxation. So you want to kind of clench your shoulders, clench your shoulder muscles as hard as you can, and then let it go. Clench up, let it go. And that'll loosen up your shoulders. Does anybody feel a little bit looser? Yeah. And that's pretty easy to do. Something that we can all do. Doesn't take long. You can clench up your arms and relax. It makes your muscles relax. Imagery or guided imagery. This you can do on your own. If you close your eyes and think of a place that is peaceful to you, anywhere, and you really focus on that place, the sounds of that place, the smells of that place. Again, for me, it's the beach. I can close my eyes. I'm lying on the sand. The sun is hot, not too hot. Got the waves gently rolling in and out, and you really focus on the sound and the smell of where you are. And what happens is you're so busy doing that for a few minutes that you forget about whatever the issue is that is stressful to you, if you really focus. You can also, guided imagery, there are a lot of apps that you can get now on phones that will do that for you, that will talk you through walking through the forest and smelling the fresh air and hearing the birds. And the first time I tried it, I giggled because I thought, oh, this is silly. But I wasn't focusing. So then when I tried it again and I really listened, I definitely felt more at peace by the time I finished listening to that. I have one app on my phone. I would try it. I don't think it would be loud enough. But it's a gentleman who has this really nice Scottish accent. And so he talks about walking through the forest and listening to the birds. And, you know, by the time you're done with that, you're like, whoa. You are relaxed. So Calm is a popular app. I think you can at least do a couple of free sessions with that. You can just go on the app store on your phone or make your children do it. I like to make my children do it for me. And you can search for free apps, and they kind of talk you through that. Do not use relaxation techniques as a replacement for conventional care or to postpone going to the doctor if you have a medical issue. Stress can create medical issues. So if you are having some serious concerns, some serious medical concerns because of your stress, a lot of migraines, upset stomach, any of that, please go to a doctor. See your primary care, because you probably need more than guided imagery. Okay? Also, ask for and accept help. I don't know if we are worse at putting ourselves first or asking for and accepting help. How many people feel comfortable asking for help? That's like a half.
No, I can't lift things.
Oh, your friend behind you just did like a, she was like, maybe I am, no, I'm not. Right. So that's
It's a good looking guy in the parking lot, doesn't know.
exactly. Depends. So that's practically nobody in this room feels comfortable asking for help. But if you're a caregiver, you need to ask for help. And let me tell you, a lot of people are happy to give help. In fact, if you need to, think of it as doing them a favor. I love to help people. I made a whole career out of it. It makes me feel good. If you accept somebody's help, you are giving them the gift of feeling good about themselves. How's that for good spin? But it's true. People like to help. They may not know how to. They may not know what you need. Yes, ma'am.
Give you an instance of that?
Sure.
Yesterday I went to the post office and I had a bag with a couple of boxes. There was a man that was older than I am that held the door open for me.
Yeah.
Told me if I go in, he'll open the inside door. Get inside, and all the people move aside so I could be number one. It pays to be old.
Exactly.
And he felt great that he could do something for me. You're right.
Yeah. People, but sometimes you need to tell them exactly what you need. Especially if you're a caregiver. Being a caregiver for somebody is like having children. You cannot know what it's like to have children until you do it. Right? So being a caregiver, if you're taking care of a family member that, for instance, has dementia, and your friend wants to help, they have no idea what that's like. You might need to say, I would love that. If you could sit with Dad for an hour or two so I could get out, that would be perfect. Just tell people what you need. If somebody offers help, that means they want to help. That means they're happy to do it. They want to do what you need, though, what's really going to help you. Get your family in. Sometimes it's hard to get family in to be helpful. You might need to have a sit-down family powwow about that. I've refereed many of those over the years. Friends, your church, people in this group. Go to a support group. If you are somebody that is dealing with like dementia, the Alzheimer's Association has a lot of support groups all around. The Parkinson's Society has support groups. There are a lot of support groups around. And even if you are not one to do groups, you can go and listen. And it just feels good to know that these people understand what you're going through. I try to get all my clients to go to support groups, and even the ones that sit in the back and don't speak tell me that they feel better because this person understands what I'm going through. So if there's some kind of support group, please do it. Let it go. Let it go. What really matters? If your sheets are not ironed, is the world going to come to an end? It will not. I always sleep on wrinkly sheets, I have to admit. Prioritize. Think about what really matters. Right? Wrinkly sheets, who cares? If you're taking care of somebody, what matters is that they're as clean as you can get them, that they have on some kind of clothing. Might be paisley on top, stripes on the bottom. It is not the end of the world. Think about what really matters. And sometimes you have to let things go. Like when you have toddlers in your house and your house looks like a tornado went through it. But at least your kids they're clean, they're dry, they've eaten. Try to relax on yourselves. Cut yourself some slack. We're all really big on being negative about ourselves. I didn't iron the sheets. I'm a bad person, I didn't iron the sheets. I didn't get that 15th load of laundry done today. Well, I am no good. Say positive things about yourself. If you are a caregiver, you deserve to be kind to yourself. Okay, say nice things to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. That really just brings your whole mood down. So you're not helping yourself by saying mean things to you. You're actually making it harder. Okay? Find humor where you can. That's just how I was raised, was to try to find humor. Sometimes it's kind of hard in some situations, but I'll tell you, if there's any little piece of something that's funny, run with it. Because laughter actually releases endorphins and brings your whole mood up. Smile. Sometimes if you paste a fake smile on your face, even for a minute, it turns into a real smile, brings your mood up. Take time for you. Take a break. Please, take a break. You're not required to go 24/7 without taking 15 minutes to go sit on your back deck and breathe and relax. It does not make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad caregiver to take a break. It makes you a smart caregiver. And you can tell people I said that. It makes you a smart caregiver. And if you need to get some professional help, if you are so stressed that you are completely overwhelmed and you really can't see your way out of feeling that stress, you feel depressed, please get some professional help. There is no shame in that. That goes back to taking care of you because you're number one, right? And you can go to your pastor, talk to your primary care provider, whatever you need to do. Because if you go down, so does the person you're taking care of. The ship can't go down. It's got to stay afloat, right? Okay. Thank you for your time and your attention. Are there any questions?